ahead on the show. Traveling solo can be daunting for many, but for Olivia Lee, there is nothing more satisfying. Get tips on how to have the adventure of a lifetime right after this break. Welcome back to First Look Asia. Well, once upon a time, traveling solo was reserved for backpackers roughing it out around the globe, but that's not happening anymore.
Not anymore. According to TrekSoft's 2017 Travel Trend Report, more people are traveling alone, especially women.
And to discuss this rising trend, we have Aaron Hung, TripAdvisor Senior Director of Partnerships Asia Pacific, and Olivia Lee, Public Relations Specialist, who's also an avid solo traveler. Thank you very much for joining
morning,
us.
guys.
Thank you.
Aaron, let's start with you. What kind of experiences are solo travelers chasing?
Well, we looked into the travel forums and we looked at solo travelers' comments and opinions, and we found three very clear trends. First, restoration. These days we're looking at our phones, our computers, our TV all the time. So it's like a digital detox to get away from it all. So restore, for example, going for Ayurvedic treatment, a yoga retreat for a couple of weeks. So getting away from it all.
And getting away from other people too, right?
Exactly.
I'm guessing getting away from your bosses,
So be
your partner.
yourself, giving yourself the time and attention. And then secondly is sort of exploring, immersing in your passion. So the passion immersion. So all of us have sort of different passions, cooking, maybe studying Spanish, maybe photography, painting. So taking a holiday, but combining that, taking a class from an expert in the destination that is your favorite, that is really, so studying and taking a class in your passion.
You mentioned passion, and Olivia, you love traveling.
Yeah.
You've traveled quite extensively on your own.
Yes.
How do you decide which country to go to by yourself?
For me, I think because I'm a big fan of adventure and nature, so that is my first point of consideration before I embark on any trip. So usually the first place that I would decide on is the beach, and of course as a female traveler myself, safety is quite a concern for me. So this place has to be somewhere that is very easy to navigate, probably requires less intense traveling for me, and so in this case I would be able to make the best out of it and see how I can go about.
Aaron, can you tell us some of the places, the hotspots that people who want to travel solo go to?
Yes, there are many. What we looked at our destinations, and our #1 traveler's choice destination in the world, Bali. We've seen a lot of spike in interest from especially Southeast Asian travelers across all of Southeast Asia. The number of reviews we collected went up over 60%. Places that in Bali that we can go to, my God, there's a long list of things. Hiking up Mount Batu, getting up early, hiking up 2 hours, walking through the paddy fields in Ubud, taking a yoga class, in the fields or in
Going
sunrise.
surfing even.
Exactly.
Yeah. What about long haul? That's a shorter trip. Bali's close by for us in Singapore. What about a longer trip?
Yeah, a little bit further. One of my own favorites, the Traveler's Choice #7 destination in the world for our travelers, Barcelona.
Oh yeah,
A little
great.
bit further. Barcelona, famous for its art and architecture. Picasso, Gaudi, Miro, all came from there. The one destination you must visit, Sagrada Familia.
Oh yes,
Under
of course.
construction for over 150 years.
Yes.
And it's not going to be finished for another 10. It's the first destination that has received over 100,000 reviews on TripAdvisor. So lots and lots of people go, but there's a trick in beating the queue. So you can skip the line pass and order one of those. I did one of that, and you can just go to the front of the line and go in and enjoy the splendor.
Okay, so those are the inner secrets. I backpacked around Europe and around Asia as well, but with friends. So we all sort of divided what we were going to do and what we were going to plan out. So for you, Olivia, how long does it take you to plan before you actually take your trip?
For me, I actually do. It depends on how much leave I have first. So that is definitely one thing that I have to consider. So usually for me, I would actually take at least about a week to travel to somewhere. So for my for my trip last year in December, I went to Krabi, even though I actually had like a broken foot.
Oh.
So I broke my foot about 3 weeks before I was about to embark on my trip, and I was in my crutches. And I wasn't able to really travel much, but because after that I was put in my walking cast, so I was actually able to. I just told myself, you know what, I need to get out of the country. I have some time, I can just put the cast in my bag. So I just packed my luggage and I just booked my ticket 12 hours before it. Wow. And the next thing I knew, I was at the airport with
It's beautiful.
Well, you're obviously very comfortable, confident traveling alone. But for other women perhaps, who might think, oh, I'm a bit nervous about being completely self-sufficient, what would you tell them? What are the benefits of traveling by yourself?
There's a lot of benefits actually, because I think it's a lot of embracing your own thoughts when you're alone. At the start, when I just started out traveling, I similarly faced such fears. So you would actually find yourself being a bit awkward, eating in public, or just sometimes even taking photos of yourself that when people around you are in groups.
Right.
And I would just be like, it's okay, you know. After a while, when you get used to it, and you just step out of your comfort zone, it becomes a lot easier. And when you meet fellow backpackers, for example, you can talk to them, and you will know how best to actually make the best out of your traveling experience.
Okay, what is your favorite spot? And also, can you tell us what was the toughest experience you ever got that you said, look, you know, I need to move out of this situation? Because I'm quite certain, because you travel quite a lot, and your spidey senses might tell you, look, this is not good, I need to walk away from. Can you tell us both? We'll start off with your favorite spot first.
Yeah, my favorite spot is actually in Boracay. So I was there last year in October. That was my first trip to the Philippines, and it was also the trip that makes me fall in love with Philippines. I feel that it's quite an underrated destination currently. So there's a lot to do. The people are really nice, very hospitable. I knew some locals in the hostel, and they brought me to the local karaoke bar. And there
you belted out a few numbers.
yeah, it's an interesting experience because it's different from what you would think of our own karaoke in Singapore. So you go over there, you pick a song from a book, and then you go up to the stage and you sing in front of everybody else.
What about the most challenging, very quickly?
Yeah.
Challenging, I was harassed actually by a person when I was in the bar. But what I did was that I quickly shot a look at my hostel mates and told the people that, oh, I need to leave. So I think the most important thing is that when you notice that you are in a dangerous situation, always trust your instincts and leave immediately.
That's good advice.
And Aaron, so for people planning solo trips after hearing about Olivia's adventures, what advice would you give them? How do you go about planning that?
Ask for advice, ask for people like Olivia who have been there before, look at reviews online, look at any other sites. We have lots of different forums. We have a forum that are for solo travelers. You ask other people questions. There are many other forums online also. So do your research, do your preparation. But travel is about sort of expanding your horizons and learning, right? And it's about embracing that challenge. And incidentally, last year we did a survey with Asian female travelers, and over 40% said that traveling alone experience is much less stressful. And over 70% said that whole experience of traveling alone was sort of a liberation. It gave much more sense of freedom. So it's a big trend. And so as long as you prepare, go there, be open with anything, careful of any sort of dangers, which are not a lot.
Precautions.
Yeah, and you can vouch for that too.
Yes, I was in India and I went to Cambodia alone. It was a great experience.
Best thing is to meet with the locals. Go there, talk to local
exactly.
people. You learn so much more.
Thank you so much.
We've
been speaking to Aaron Hung, TripAdvisor Senior Director of Partnerships Asia Pacific, and Olivia Lee, a public relations specialist who is also clearly an avid solo traveler.
Do you have a favorite solo travel destination or memory? Tweet us at LandCNA or at Teresa Tang CNA. Don't forget to include the hashtag FirstLookAsia.